getting nervous because I guess they were holding you upstairs. Like, oh, okay. Where do I begin? I'm hoping too, if you guys have any questions. I recognize some people. Yeah. So just as I'm going along, we're a nice small group. We can throw them out. And again, thank you guys for coming. I will just tell you a little bit about me. I ate the standard American diet for 35 years. And during that time, went through a lot of ups and downs with my diet and a lot of different sizes in my weight and a lot of frustrations and really unhappy about food and my relationship with food. And, you know, Oprah admitted it on her show, so I feel like I can also say that food is my drug of choice. And, and this really helped me a lot. So I became very passionate about it because when I did change my diet, things really did help me with my weight and also with my health. And one of like the kind of the turning points is when we had a friend come and stay with us, and she was working with my husband, and she was kind of living at the house, and she was older than me and thinner than me and a lot of energy. Hi! There's handouts and recipes over there and sign-in sheet. And I was really, you know, ticked off. I'm like, what? Come on, what? You know. So I was envious, and she took me to a bookstores. And I started reading books that weren't about weight loss. They're really more about health. And a book, one of the books was Fit for Life. I don't know if you've ever heard, there's an old book, but since then I would recommend, if you're wanting to know what my favorite books today are, The China Study is one of the top, if you've read it or seen Forks Over Knives, the documentary, but sometimes it's better to read a book. Anything by Dr. McDougall? Yes? Can I see a show of hands for people who are like McDougall fans or have read The China Study? Caldwell Esselstyn? Good. Oh, good, good, good. Well, you know, one of the things I came across too is Dr. Dean Ornish. It's been 20 years now since his landmark study. He had about 45 people in this study in San Francisco, and they all had cardiac issues. Some of them had stents put in, or, you know, heart attacks, and many of them were given kind of a grim prognosis. And they went on this program by Dr. Dean Ornish for, I think it might have been a year. And it was a low-fat, plant-based diet with a little like yoga, sort of de-stress, no tobacco, a little bit of exercise. And what they found was just astonishing to the medical community, because the x-rays, the angiograms, so you could see the inside of the arteries and veins, after the program, after a year, they were cleared. They were clearing. So this isn't cement, you know, in our arteries and veins. And he had shown, and since Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn has also shown that this stuff really does clean out, wash away. And I was very impressed by some of those findings and continued to learn about the health aspects of what we're eating. There are over 60,000 miles in our body of capillaries and arteries and veins. If we stretch that out, you know, end to end, that will go around the globe 2 times. Isn't that cool? Our body is just an amazing thing. And when you think about animal products, especially the full fat or the, you know, the marbled steak or what have you, the percentage of saturated fat is really high. And what do you guys do with your bacon grease? Do we pour that down the kitchen sink? Why not? This is the size of a kitchen pipe, everybody. And we don't even want to pour that kind of fat down our kitchen pipe. But how many of Americans are eating these things every day, and 3 times a day sometimes? So that is the #1 killer in America and has been for some time. And the first sign that you're having a heart attack, 40% of the time, the first sign that you're having a heart attack is sudden death. So it's pretty serious. And we really want to avoid that. And cancer is an even scarier thing. And a lot of the things that are going to protect us are these plants that we're going to be working with today. So I made this scary decision years and years ago. I said, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could do this because I have no willpower around food, but I'm going to try calling myself a vegetarian. So I made the little announcement to my family. They all thought I was crazy. And I lost 30 pounds fairly soon, and my sinuses cleared up, my acne got cleared up, breathing better at night. I had more energy. When my monthly time came, didn't have the cramps like I used to. And a really nice benefit was not having sinus infections, because I had really suffered from sinus infections terribly every single year. And antibiotics after antibiotics, and your whole face hurts because it's so stuffed. So I know dairy is a cause of that, because when I quit the dairy, and sometimes I do dabble, I'm not perfect, but that's okay. There's no police, and I'm doing the best I can, and I still, you know what's good, at least I do now, and I'm grateful to know what I can strive for. So I have fun creating recipes. I'm excited to be here today to share some of them with you. I write for the Healthy Facts, which is in the Natural Health Center, so if you ever pick up these brochures, all the recipes in here I do, plus you can watch me make them if you go to the little website there. And I filmed yesterday for November, so you guys get to try some of the recipes I made yesterday for the Healthy Facts video I did. Okay, well, where am I going to start? Oh, and if you were wondering, this is just a simulated pound of fat. I'll pass it around just because that's always fun, right? Okay, I think the first thing I'm going to do is, I'm passing around these weekly menu planners, because what I want you to do with those is make copies when you get home and keep copies of those, because meal planning is just an important part of staying healthy. And we are hit with how many hundreds of thousands of meals in our lifetime. I mean, I can't remember the number. I used to know it by heart, but a lot. And they're going to keep coming at you like a conveyor belt. And if you're not ready, the next meal's coming, and you're starving, and you're not prepared, what are we going to do? We're going to make a bad choice. So it's really best to put a little effort in, because we plan our outfits, we plan our parties, we plan our work things, we plan, and we forget about our food, which is the most important thing you could spend your time on. I really believe that. If you're eating well and you're getting a little exercise, and for me personally also doing a little prayer, everything else is going to work out after that. If I hit those three things, it's all going to be okay. I don't know how, but it's going to be okay. Because when I'm not doing that, life seems harder. So just a reminder with the planning, and hopefully a sheet like that will help you. Okay, I have some lovely kale here. This is organic kale that I just got at the farmer's market. And I did Germ-X my hands, but I will do that again. I'm pretty bad about using those gloves, so I just use the Germ-X. And this is a salad that probably of everything we make today will probably be my favorite. We have to pick a really nice avocado.
How do you pick a nice one?
Good question.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, when they get darker like this, that means they're ripening, but they go bad quickly. They go to that point where sometimes they're too squishy. So I buy them. I usually try to buy them with just a little squish, and then I'll put them in the fridge if I think they're good, and that way the refrigerator will keep them, fresh and firm longer. How about anybody? Any other tips on avocados from my group here?
Pull out the little nub thing on the end.
Yes.
And it's like just kind of bright green. That's when it's almost perfect.
Well, thank you. Let's try that. We pull out the nub. Yeah, they get ripe. Okay, look, I pulled out the little nub, and it's pretty bright green, right?
So it should hopefully be good.
It's hopefully out. What a nice tip. Okay, we're going to test it right now. We're going to check it out. But I think you're right. And I think this is a perfect one. See, my other ones didn't have the nubs in place. Nubless. Oh, that's a tiny, tiny little seed in that one.
That popped right out.
Yeah. Sometimes I do like this very fancy move where I slam the knife into it and twist the pit, but that was a pretty small little pit there. So I'm scoring it right in the, you can just carefully, if you don't go through the skin, which is kind of hard. And then you could, this is kind of a nice way to just, I love avocados in my salad, and I try to do this fairly regularly during the week. No, wait, you probably couldn't see me do that too well. Let me move this aside. Oops.
Do it just like the sandwich game.
Is that what he does on TV or something? Ah. I'm thinking we might use another half of an avocado in this too, because we have a lot of kale here. Oh, I hear that. I hear. She was asking me about eating raw kale.
I've never eaten
You have not eaten raw kale?
it. That's when you peel tips and throw kale in soup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this might be a little of an advanced recipe for some of you. We'll see, because if you're not used to it, kale can't. But that's probably why I'm making it first too, is because when we get the avocado smushed into it, y'all kind of see the color here, right? Mm-hmm. Well, after the avocado kind of melds in with the kale, it turns a different color. And I'm going to be, I don't know what it does. It kind of starts breaking down the leaves a little bit, or it kind of tenderizes it, I think is the right word. And it makes it a little yummier. And because raw, I agree, if you just take a kale leaf and you just nosh on it, it's probably, not as fabulous as, spinach is nice and mild. Collard greens are even a little bit more mild than kale. Have you had collard greens raw? Because
No, not raw, no.
they're really good raw, and collard greens are nice, and they're nice and flat, so you can make wraps with them and all sorts of things. Okay, let's see if I can. Wasn't really thinking about how my hands were going to be all after that. All right, now I'm going to pour on a little bit of lemon juice. We have, well, it's about and we're going to salt it up a little bit.
Is that a seasoned salt?
This is just a sea salt, the real food. It has some minerals in it. And then I made some beans in the oven today. Have y'all made beans in the oven yet or before? It's so super easy. And the dried beans are, inexpensive, but I was always thinking it takes too long, you have to soak them, and what is this, rinse and soak, and I didn't understand it. But I've come to learn that it's really simple. You just need a covered casserole dish, like, a Dutch oven kind of a thing, or even I used a small casserole dish with the lid today, and I just rinse the beans, put them in, and put about 3 times more water, and then 350 degrees for a few hours. Any other thoughts on that, comments?
Could you do it?
What's your first name? Because Judy, I'm so happy to see you. Cause
Does that work with all dry beans?
yeah, the time might be different depending on the size of the bean. But it's just so nice how you really don't have to pre-soak or anything, and the oven takes care of it. And I check it after 2 hours and stir it, see how much longer it needs. Yes.
And how many hours? 3 you said?
I say start at 2 and check it.
We use a pressure cooker.
I just
to
wanted to show
pour
it
on
to
the
the
beans in the water, and then as soon as the whites start dropping, we will shut it off. But you can get them more tender by going a little longer.
Yeah, I
Use a slow cooker?
I haven't, but I know you can. I've heard that you can. Mine were a little over tenderized here. I did some cannellini beans, which are like white kidney beans, and we're just gonna throw some of those in.
Baked them too long, you mean?
Yeah, I baked them. I think I put a little bit too much water too, and whatever. Yeah, probably not perfect, but that's okay. The beans, you sure can. You know, in the water you could put a bay leaf, garlic cloves, onion, whatever floats your boat. Okay, I'm a little nervous about some of you guys who haven't tried the kale, but let's see. I like to get people trying the sample. So I'm going to, using my tongs, I'm going to set this. Judy, yes, you help. Thank you.
These are stuck to the side of the dish in there.
Oh, okay. Well, she's a pro. She's gonna figure that out. Do you want another assistant, Judy? You could take this where you want. What's your first name? Ruth Ann. It's so good to see you. Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm trying to think of some good news because I do have some bad news. Okay, well, the bad news is I forgot my tofu but the good news is I did bring other things for you to taste. But this chippiest chip dip that's on your recipe sheet next, this requires a box of silken tofu. And you know, you just forget things sometimes when you leave the house, don't you? Of course, I'm unpacking and I was really annoyed with myself. But if you...
Could you read the first two ingredients? Because they're
Yes,
mashed on.
right. It's 1 package of tofu, silken style, firm, non-GMO. That'll be in a box about yay, you know. Have you guys seen the boxes of tofu? I was going to almost pull it up on my phone. They're in this like box that you have to kind of cut it open, and they're not always refrigerated either. There's the tofu that comes in the water that's a different texture completely than this silken tofu. This silken tofu gets real creamy and absolutely wonderful.
So
and
it doesn't come in water then?
no,
Okay.
no.
But they have it in water at Meyer.
Right. That's a different kind of tofu. My friends and I don't know if this is technical, but we call that a produce style tofu. It's always going to be refrigerated. It comes in the water, and it's got more of a cottage cheesy, you know, ricotta cheese. If you're making a veggie lasagna or whatever, it'll come like that. But then the silken tofu, please try that. You're going to need to get that one.
That one. If it's not the produce kind, where do you find
Yeah, well, at Natural Health Center, they're definitely going to have it. I know Myers has it.
But where does Meyer have it?
Is it by the mushrooms or is it frozen?
Yeah, I think it's by the lettuce.
Well, that's where they have the one with the water, but I think they also have the other kind there. I think they have the boxes there too.
And so the difference is to look for silken?
Is it-
Yes,
is it
look
a
for
box
silken.
Like a carton?
Yes,
Like a,
Yes.
like a milk carton?
Yes.
used to be?
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Could you get it at Pacific Rim?
probably. That sounds Asian, and that's probably, yeah. So that recipe is so super easy. And when I make, this is like one of my biggest pig out recipes. You guys are going to love it. So please do try it. All you need are a couple green onions and a little garlic salt and their tofu and lemon juice. Those are, you know, the 4 ingredients. But you can add to it and make it really, really more nutritious by putting in some red pepper or some spinach or zucchini or anything that you have. Maybe I should have let the kale tenderize. How are we doing with that? So, hey, all right. So, yeah.
What is the second ingredient? It looks like
Garlic salt. 1.5 teaspoons of garlic salt. Yeah. And then if you like hot sauce, you can throw a little hot sauce in there. So if you eat that with some baked chips, and Lay's makes a nice baked potato chip. Do you have a question?
How do you tenderize it?
Oh, I think just the avocado, or probably if I put oil on the leaves, it would kind of just tenderize it. So I was saying, and I mashed it in there.
For me, because I don't.
Oh, you don't like avocados? Okay, well, I appreciate it if you try. I'm always proud of people who give something a try, even if they're a little suspect. So you know, when we were little, how many of us like poured the garlic salt in the sour cream? And okay, well, that was one of my. full fat potato chips. No? Okay, well this is my version of like the comfort food from youth, revamped to be much healthier, and with all the extra veggies you can throw in there, it can really be a really, really good one. All right, should we do the smoothie next? Thank you so much, Ruth Ann and Judy. So some of you were saying you cook with kale, but another great thing to do with it is to make a smoothie with it. And kale, collards, I already gave you the answer, but that is the Andy scale that I know Whole Foods was using, and Dr. Joel Furman helped create this Andy scale. It stands for Aggregate Nutrient Density Index. So it rates all the foods as far as how nutrient dense are they on a scale of 1 to 1,000. And so I already gave you the answer. What's at 1,000? Yeah, very good. You guys listen. And collard greens, and I think watercress. But all the dark leafy greens are going to be up there. And so if you are eating some kale and some collard greens every day, you're really getting all the gamut. The K vitamin, every vitamin that's there, it's in here. Plus the antioxidants, the phytochemicals, these protective agents against cancer. I mean, this is like the stuff this is like our multivitamin right here. Not that, you can't take a multivitamin, that's just fine too. But this is also extra protection. And I really like making smoothies with kale. It's nicer if you have a really high-powered blender. If you don't have a high-powered blender, you get little bits of green, and it still works. Do you use it? Do you have a? No. But it's still okay. There you go. I think, I use the Ninja, and some of you may have heard that one. I mean, it was $99, and I got that for the church that I work at sometimes. And that's okay, but nothing compares to this Vitamix. And I know Blendtec is another one that's right up there with the quality of blender. And I just watched a video on it too, because I've heard, the Ninja has its like infomercial, and it looks like it's as good as this, but it's not. They kind of dispelled the myth. Anyway, so I'm not going to put the stem in, but you could. And with this machine, it would pulverize it, and you would never know. But I probably would just keep the stem in if it were just me. All right, I'm going to put 3 in here. Woo! You guys are probably nervous. And this recipe. Oh, and then we have some bananas. When your bananas get ripe and they get the brown spots, you take the peel off. And I usually halve them and then put them in a plastic baggie and put them in the freezer. And then you've got your bananas ready to go for your smoothies. Anybody else do that? Judy, you must do that all the time. Some of the time. You blend the kale first with what?
Water or apple juice or something that helps to break it up more.
Okay. And that's a good tip. Really good. What, do you have a nice high-powered blender too? Okay. Interesting. All right. Anybody else?
Place to buy vitamins.
I think Costco was selling them, and I do know you can get them refurbished at the Vitamix website. So you can. I know people have told me that the refurbished ones are just as good as a brand new one. They probably put a brand new motor in, or I don't know what they do, but I would trust that to be a good deal. Any other ideas on that?
Are those bananas frozen right now?
They were frozen at home, and I kept them on ice, so they're pretty cold. And then I also have some mango and peaches that I'm putting in here. What?
Are you using baby kale or regular kale?
I'm using full full adult. Well, I don't. That's a good question because I did buy the kale from 2 different sources, and the one had larger leaves, so it looked like it was an older kale. And then a lot of the ones that you ate, this was probably more of a baby kale, but you might have had a different variety.
Kale, the leaves are really.
Oh, okay, then no. Obviously, no. Oh, then no. Oh, right.
Look like babies.
Yeah, like babies.
Like that kale salad that they're showing in the markets now, or at least at Walmart. Yeah. Yeah, no, I just used the regular.
Well, if you're socially conscious, don't go to Walmart.
Yeah, I live in such a small town, so it's a little harder to get over here, but I do prefer shopping over at the health food stores. I am putting some medjool dates in the smoothie, and this is one of my preferred methods of sweetening anything, would be the medjool dates. They're so sweet and wonderful.
Is that on your list?
Yes,
Don't
4
they put,
dates.
like more antioxidants and goodness in them than just about anything?
They are really high on the nutrient density index and so good for you. And these medjool dates are like candy. They're just so good. So, what's that?
Spell medjool.
Medjool.
M-E-D.
I mean, there are thousands of varieties of dates. In this country, we're not getting exposed to as many as there are, but even here, I've seen, anyway, I can't remember some of the other names of the, okay, we're figuring out how many we need, right? Well, we got, okay, gotta get some energy over here. It's gonna be a little loud for a second. I think Miss Judy D is right about this doing the kale first because it would just blend it that much better. You are so smart. Figure these things out, don't we? As we go along. All right. Do you need another helper person? She's coming. She's coming. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we got the little teeny tiny shot glasses over here. Did I not get everything? Was something frozen?
Was some of the fruit frozen?
Yes, but it kind of thawed a little bit on the way out, you know. For certain things, I will. Sure, it's always fresh is best, frozen next, canned, third. You do what you can. And the important thing is just to try to get more veggies in, more fruits in, and I was already, when I made this transition, I'd already tried all the turkey recipes I could get and the chicken, thinking that was the way to go. But I was really getting bored with that. And I've never been bored. I don't know why, but I think when I went this way and I had to try different foods, there's so much great ethnic food out there, and there's so many great seasonings that make food taste good, and there's so many grains that I never tried and I wouldn't have tried if I didn't start, this path. So I really enjoy. You have the same experience? Yeah, it's exciting. I really.
Really, really bad, and now I'm feeling really good.
And you feel better?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Good.
I think I started
Good, good, good. One of the other benefits I found is that
Did you want to try it?
Oh, okay, let's see. Let me taste it. Thank you. One of the other things that happened that I thought was pretty cool, and this is the reason why, well, I could eat a little bit more food when I went to a plant-based diet, and I don't count calories, and I was still losing the weight. And the reason is I learned through all these books and things, and then being trained in Washington and all this, since I've been in this process, it's been really exciting. There's a lot to learn, and I'm not as excited about the nutrition end of it actually as the behavior change part, because that's like the really tricky part, right? You need to have the information, but then actually making the behavior change is even, the harder thing. But it's all the fiber. Fiber is only found in plant foods, and it really bulks everything up. So you can eat, you start doing a comparison of, a bowl of oatmeal and an egg, or whatever, the calories, just the density, how much it fills you up, how much you stay full, and you're not getting any cholesterol at all when you eat plant foods. There's 0 cholesterol in the plant world. So all the animal products that you're going to eat have hormones, have cholesterol, there's no fiber. So those are a lot of reasons why to try to concentrate more on the pretty colors of the plant world and getting more of these in.
I have a question about the smoothie.
Uh-huh.
I'm preparing for one. Now, I get that you can freeze the bananas. What if, can I freeze the mangoes and peaches?
Absolutely. Yeah, everything can be frozen. And that's a nice thing about making a smoothie for one, is you really can adjust very nicely for just yourself. Yes. Oh, you will take another one. Why don't you come right up here? I'm excited because there's some good kale for you there. Nice stuff here.
That kale, that smoothie's really good.
Oh, excellent. And did you try the avocado? You did, but and you ate it? I'm proud of you. All right, very good. Now, there's all sorts of variations on those recipes that you can do. With the kale, one of my favorite things that I eat regularly is, the box of greens that you get, organic herb mix, or one of those, like any kind of like spring mix, herb mix, the organic little greens. I usually take half of it out and put it in a Tupperware like this and do a half of an avocado, a half a lemon juiced, or sometimes I'll blend the avocado, the lemon, a red pepper, a cucumber, a zucchini. You just kind of, green onions. I'm kind of lazy and I don't want to chop anything for my salad, so I'll blend it and kind of make like a veggie soup with it, with a little bit of salt, or what's that?
Kind of like gazpacho.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you guys, it's heaven. To me, this is heavenly. I mean, you could do fresh ginger. There's so many great things. Just throw it in your blender, and then I'm almost like eating a soup salad. And it sounds like it's kind of crazy, but I'll add beans to it, like a can of beans, to really get myself totally full and satisfied until dinner. Or leftover potato, just a plain baked potato cut up, or cooked potato, or brown rice. Sometimes I blend my brown rice with the avocado and the lemon juice to make a salad with some, other seasonings. So I one lady said that changed her life. She just told me that just shaking up a salad with some, some other veggies every day. I think it's the combination of a half of an avocado and a half a lemon juiced, and then you can just go crazy with whatever else you want to do. But there's just something about it that's really satisfying and delicious, and nutritious. Well, what kind of dressing are you using?
The red kind. Okay, roku.
Well, yeah. You do want to just be careful with the fat content of anything, and avocados are high in fat. However, if you limit it to half of an avocado a day and just a handful of nuts, be careful wherever else your fat sources are coming from. I try to be really careful about oils. I don't cook with them. You can saute using water, broth, you know, soy sauce, wine, juice, you know, salsa, barbecue sauce. But you want to try to avoid the oils, especially, you know, we all eat out occasionally, and boy, they're putting fat in everything we eat when we go out a lot of times. We just can't, we don't have that control. So at home, I try to make it more of a zone. You know, again, it's a very saturated fat, and I'm not a big proponent of just taking it because of what the recent sort of, to me, it's a little bit of a fad. You know, we go through our stages of thinking we found a miracle, and I could have brought a sheet from the Cancer Project, or Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine has a website. You can go there and look at any ingredient and get some of the research. So I recommend that website. They all want more, yay! Okay.
Avocado is replacement for the salad dressing.
Yes.
Okay, I missed that.
Yep. Yep. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is one of my favorite appetizer thingies, and I don't think I've ever done this in front of a group before. I don't know, because it's just going to take me a minute, but we'll see how this goes. So you take a can of pinto beans. We're at under the chippiest chip dip. We're at the Mexican layer dip, and I never follow a recipe very exactly, so you can't be mad at me, but I wing this every time, and it turns out good every time. So a can of rinsed and drained pinto beans. I'm going to put a little fresh salsa in there, and sometimes I'll drain the fresh salsa and just have the juice in this part, and then a little cumin, which I love the smell of fresh cumin. Should I pass this around so y'all can? It's so good. And I'm so bad about measuring. See this size spoon I'm using? I'll just pass this around. So if you haven't had the experience of smelling cumin, and then cilantro. Do we have any cilantro haters around here? One? That's not too bad. I usually get one. I'm sorry, dear. The thing that makes this easy is I just rinsed the cilantro, and I'm going to just cut off the bottom part. But even if a lot of the stems are in there, who cares? We're blending it, so it's all good. It's all good, good, good. Does everyone have a food processor at home? I think this is more important than a blender almost. I don't know. I had 3 of them out here a minute ago. I went away.
I'm just going to ask you, I've always read it's better, for instance, to have a whole orange than to have orange juice.
That's true. That's true. Because you're getting all the fiber from the oranges. You're going to stay fuller longer. It's a slower release of the sugars.
So my question is, with like the smoothie or the blending itself doesn't reduce the nutritional value.
Correct. Right, it does not. No, that's why I prefer smoothies, and so does some of my cohorts. We prefer smoothies rather than juicing in general. And some people like juicing. It adds, a certain variety, and it's nice and light. But really, smoothies are so good because it has all the fiber. It's more, more bulky or less waste. So it just doesn't. I don't have a juicer. If you put your finger underneath in the bottom here, it'll keep that blade from falling out if you do have a blender, or a food processor. And I'm precariously doing this on top of this. I'm crazy. I'm a little risk taker. This food processor here is my favorite. This size is just really nice, and it was only $99. It was like on sale at Macy's, and I don't know if they still have this Very simple one, and I really like it because the hole is simple and big, and it's just 3 pieces, or so it's kind of easy to work with. Plus they give you a grating blade and a slicing blade, and so that's how I did the carrots for this dish, is with the grating blade that comes with the food processor. Okay, so we're just gonna throw that on a pie plate. Voila. And I'm going to put on a little bit of salsa. You don't see salsa?
Oh, there it is. Thank you.
No, I think I'll put a little bit more on. See this, what's fun is you just, with your cooking, you don't have to follow a recipe so much. You just kind of wing it.
Now, the mix you made was really good, but couldn't you also use fat-free refried beans?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. Yes.
Lazy woman in the second.
I thank you for bringing that up. I meant to say that because sometimes if you don't have a food processor as well, Old El Paso, I know that brand in particular makes a no-fat, fat-free refried beans, and so they're already blended. You could just stir in some chopped cilantro and cumin, and there you go. You're all set. Right. Okay, so what's going to be my cheese layer, is, yes?
What is the red stuff in that fat? What is the red and yellow stuff?
Oh, that's just for decoration. It's just kind of blood-ish looking, right? Yeah. All right, I'm kind of going slow here. Well, anyway, when I serve this and I bring it to almost every time I'm invited to like a party, or, everybody loves Mexican, right? I mean, you just don't find too many people that don't. But the fun thing about this is nobody notices or comments that this is not cheese. It's carrots. It's just shredded carrots. And the food processor does have that blade that makes it so fast, you guys. So simple. So it's definitely worth getting a food processor. And then I just sliced up some green beans. I'm sorry, not green beans, green onions. Green onions.
Nutritional yeast to give it that cheesy flavor?
Nutritional yeast is a fabulous product. I haven't tried it on this in particular, but I love nutritional yeast, and you can make kind of a macaroni and cheese with it, or your vegan lasagna. It's very key, important role in the vegan world to use nutritional yeast. Anyone use it a lot? Like, have used it a little bit? A lot. What do you love it with?
Making a macaroni and cheese, I add it on top of popcorn. I pretty much add it to anything and everything.
Yeah.
Everything needs nut yeast.
It's
You
a
must use a lot of it, do you? Because I've tried using it and sprinkling it on, I can't even taste it.
Oh yeah, you kind of can scale it up and down. You can also buy it in bulk. Like when I buy it in bulk, I feel a little less afraid to.
Yeah, what's the nutritional?
It has a lot of B vitamins. It's really good for you. And it just is like a little flake that you get at the health food store. And really, it does make things taste cheesy.
I had somebody try to make cheese sauce with it once, and I thought it was not cheesy at all. Like, I didn't never want to eat it again. And I'm a pretty adventurous eater.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They're still perfecting some of the cheeseless recipes, in our world. But you can do a great cashew cheese. They can even do block cheeses now with the nutritional yeast. So you had a bad recipe, and that happens. But please don't let that be the last time you give that a try,
How do you make macaroni and cheese?
I use ground cashews,
Yes.
nutritional yeast,
Yes.
a little bit of salt, and like a soy milk, and just warm it
Oh,
up.
and it makes the white sauce.
Pimento adds a little color. A little pimento, a little maybe cooked red pepper or cooked carrots to give it more of a, I have a great recipe for that. If you even just Google or if you email me, I can send it to you. A really great cheesy sauce, addictive. So, with like, you can get a nacho cheesy dipping hot sauce, and believe me, it's good. People love it. It's cashew based and it has the nutritional yeast. Well, I do want to apologize. I did not buy the baked chips. Normally I would, but I was not wanting to go to the store again, and I had these. So, anyway, so those are the chips we're using. And can everyone see how pretty this is? It's pretty. Okay, so we have poor Judy and Ruth Ann. Where are my plates? We all have plates? Okay, then you need a spoon. Do you want a spoon for the chips too? The little plates? Yeah, that'd be good. Yes? Oh, you don't have plates? I have big plates up here. You can come and get one. Yeah, I think we might have, because but they could use the big ones. That's fine. Yeah. Does anybody have any comments about, yes? Uh-huh.
What is that after the beans? I didn't really want anything off after the one that starts with the B-G-O-I-L-A.
This missing.
And did you use
Oh.
that in the recipe or what
Oh,
was it?
that's a French word.
Okay.
Excuse me. And voila. I don't even know if I spelled it right. I was just being goofy. I obviously wasn't typing. It's voila. It's done, and you're done, and yeah, yeah. That's.
It means here it is.
Here it is. Thank you. Thank you.
It's sort of a ta-da kind of way.
Ta-da! Okay, so I think I sold you guys on trying to eat more greens, right? Hopefully. Everyone's gonna run home and yes.
Are the dates more nutritional values than fruit? Or are they about equal fruit and dates?
I don't know offhand. I would venture to guess dates are more nutritious than prunes or plums. I think so, but you know, you can check that probably just by a Google search, or if you email me, I'll do a little research for you if you like. Again, the website, my two favorite websites are pcrm.org.
Are they on any?
No, you have to write it down. PCRM.org, that stands for Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, and they have a great website. And Dr. McDougall's website is amazing, so that's drmcdougall.com. And then the other one is nutritionmd.org, nutritionmd.org. McDougall is Dr. McDougall.
ALL?
Two L's?
Yes. Yes. Nutritionmd.org.
McDougall is D-O-U-G-A-L-L?
Yes. Yes. And if any of you, if you got my flyer, you know that my upcoming November retreat is a great time to learn a whole lot more and try a whole lot more food, because this is my 8th year doing this, and we feed people starting on Friday night through to Sunday, crazy amounts of food, just totally selling people on a healthy lifestyle with good recipes. And we have a cooking class during the weekend. We have optional yoga or walk to town, lighthouse. A lot of speakers come out. I have wonderful registered dietitians there, a raw food chef.
Where's this at?
South Haven, and it's in a mansion. We have 2 very large homes. One's a 7-bedroom, gorgeous, beautiful mansion that we've been in. All of our main meals are there. And then we have our speakers, the next door house, and we kind of walk back and forth, and it's really a great weekend. So it's not even expensive, especially if you are driving in, but it's nicer to stay for the weekend.
You drive in for like a day?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, if you just want to come for the day. I'm going to check my time. Okay. I'm going to talk to you about these 3 recipes that I did yesterday. I guess I don't know what to serve first. So exciting. Well, the cranberry relish is a strong flavor, so I'm going to go with this one next, okay? And like I said, I made these yesterday, so you're just going to get to try them, but I'm going to show you how I made them. This is just done in a food processor, and you need an organic orange. I peel the orange, put it in the food processor, and just, pulse it or leave it running until the orange segments are real small. Then you put in the orange with the cranberries, and it's like 1.5 cups of cranberries, and it's a container of raspberries. These are in sugar, so there's already some sugar here. You can do fresh raspberries if you like. A can of crushed pineapple, so this is all in your recipe, and a little extra sweetener if you need it. Now some people might not want it, and there's a lot of forms of sweeteners for different people, have their different, styles. In the cookies today, we're going to use sucanat, which is organic cane sugar. In this recipe, I used an organic white sugar, but there's xylitol, there's stevia, there's, agave or coconut nectar or maple syrup, or you can use dates if you're really, on top of things, because that's really the best form of sweetener. So there you have it, and I am going to, maybe we should have a different volunteer. Are you okay, Judy? You keep just going.
You're gonna put this in our little cups.
Yeah, I think this would be best in the little cup because it's just a small sample probably. So it's very kind of raw, like it's raw cranberries. You might not have had that before so much. Usually at the holidays we have something cooked. But I find that this is a really nice recipe even just to eat by itself or to put on your oatmeal. Certainly to have with your turkey. It's just a yummy recipe. You need a little cup? You didn't? Okay. Sure. There you go.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, the next thing I will showcase is this dish, which is a key. You're psyched?
Excited.
You're excited? Why are you excited?
I had somebody brought a dish to work, and I just absolutely loved it.
It was quinoa?
Yes.
Is that why you're saying you're excited?
Yes.
Okay, quinoa. It's
You know how to
such.
make it, how to prepare the quinoa.
Oh, okay. This is one of the boxes of quinoa that you can find pretty readily at the store. And yeah, even some of the other stores carry this quinoa now, I'd say. But traditionally, it's like rice, 1 part quinoa to 2 parts water or broth. Here's what the quinoa looks like. This is kind of an old sample container, but you could sort of pass that around. It's just like, it's a little tiny grain, and when it's done cooking, the little spiral comes out, and you can see the little spiral. So it's kind of cute. It's a really delicious grain, and I'm glad you like it. It has a lovely flavor to it. This dish is kind of highly flavored with the toasted sesame oil. So like I was saying before, I usually leave the oil out, but in this case, toasted sesame oil and just a little bit does add a lot of flavor. And I just steamed the green beans and the carrots. There's a little cranberries in there, and a little ginger, and a little lemon juice, and then the Bragg's. Bragg's? I don't know if I wrote that down. Okay. Another substitute for Bragg's would be tamari or soy sauce. So Bragg's is a product that they sell at the health food store, and it's supposed to be lower sodium, but it tastes just like soy sauce. It's really supposed to be healthier. I'm not sure that it is, but it does taste good. So I spray that on my popcorn. They actually sell it in a little spray. Spray that, and then I drizzle the nutritional yeast. Ooh, it's really, really good. It's good.
You have to rinse quinoa first.
Thank you for bringing that up. Did I have that down there? No, I don't.
Yeah, rinse first.
This one, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. This one says it's pre-rinsed. But naturally, there's a little saponin on the grain to keep the birds from, it's like a little bitter thing so the birds don't eat it. And that's what we're supposed to rinse off, is this saponin thing, so I'm not sure how they get it off of this. How did everybody like the Mexican layer dip? So you really don't need a recipe. If you can just remember, blend your beans or stir up some cilantro and cumin into one of those cans of, beans. Shred a little carrot for your cheese because it's going to be way healthier, and eat it with baked chips, and then just put on your other little colorful things, and you'll be all set. So this is ready to go too. I'm gonna have to give Judy some, I don't know, brownie points. I don't know what.